achieved.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Studio de Jeffrey, where, yes, this is the hat I'm going to wear today because I can't find any of my regular hats. We got Cowboys stuff for you. Just finished listening to Mike McCarthy doing his daily press conference. Chido's hurt. We are going to get to our Trust the Tape offensive edition of Cowboys versus Falcons, and then we will talk about Seattle tomorrow. Although this is a little bit of Seattle talk because Mike McCarthy said Chido has a multi-week injury with his hamstring. So get ready for Chido to not be playing this week. And I know some of you are going to say good because you don't think he's any good. But this secondary needs everybody that it's got back there. So with Chido out, here's the way that I imagine this is going to go. You're removing a starting corner. You're going to take Daryl Worley, who's been playing some safety snaps on passing downs. You're going to move him to fill Chido's spot. You're now going to take Brandon Carr, who played some snaps last week, and Brandon Carr will become your Daryl Worley. So on passing downs, he will take Darian Thompson's spot, and you will move right along just like that. But you do have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf coming to town, and that is not going to be fun for the Cowboys defense. They are going to need the pass rush to get something done against Seattle. Get ready. You might need a 40-burger this week to get the job done. Now, let's get on to Trust in the Tape. There's quite a few things that I think we can take, but I'm going to start with the sexiest one, and then we'll work our way to the other observations that are important for this Cowboys offense. So, the sexiest thing that I want to show you is I believe Kellen Moore was, as they say, in his bag during this game. Now, early in the game, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'll take you through it in a little bit. Where what happened here, what happened here, what happened here. You couldn't pass protect. People couldn't hold on to the football. It was ugly, right? But when you actually had a chance to, run plays, I want to show you some of the things that the Cowboys were doing that gets me a little bit excited about where this team could be headed offensively. So here is number one. This is something that I think Jason Garrett hated because, one, I feel like every time they ran a rub route or a pick play with Jason Garrett, they got called for a penalty. But, two, I think he viewed it as dishonest. So what you've got here is this is CeeDee Lamb breaking an out route that's being thrown to him right now. And he's running his defender directly into Michael Gallup. Gallup had to fight through press coverage to work upfield, and CeeDee Lamb timed it up to where he could just ram his guy into Michael Gallup and his guy, and suddenly, hello, you're open. We have the rub routes, ladies and gentlemen. The Cowboys are no longer playing in 1953 or whatever year they were playing in before. So, moving on from that. Now, another thing I want to show you is this is their first touchdown drive of the day. Let me make sure I'm doing this properly. Yes, so this is a play that to the defense looks like, oh my goodness, they're going to run the ball. They're going to the left. Offense is going to the left. They're going to hand it to Ezekiel Elliott. Look at all these linemen coming this direction trying to pave a path for Ezekiel Elliott. What's going on here? CeeDee's not going that way, though. CeeDee's coming the other way. So that's what it looks like initially. That's what gets everybody leaning to the Cowboys going to the left. Then, magically, you continue on with the play, and what you end up with is CeeDee Lamb running all the way underneath the formation, going this direction, and he is going to catch a pass there and gain another 9 or 10 yards. The Cowboys are now stretching the field horizontally, and they're getting to the point where, much like the Rams did to them, you're going to have to defend every square inch of the field, and that is the most important thing that you can do in football. So thank you, Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, for doing that. Next thing I want to show you was the very next play. And what is it? Kind of the same deal, except CeeDee's taking a handoff. You're showing everything going one direction. The defense is going to flow that way. CeeDee Lamb is going to take a handoff going the other way, and he's going to gain 9 yards. Excuse me. You do that a few times, and suddenly teams get to the point where they are hesitating and they're not sure which way to go because the ball could be going any direction, and you can get advantage going to either side. So, Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy, they're now cooking. One more thing I want to show you in picture form. This is going to be one more rub route. By the way, these are all within the first quarter of the game, all of these screenshots. So this is sort of the same combination where CeeDee ran about an 8-yard out and ran his guy into Michael Gallup's guy, but this time CeeDee Lamb is going to be the outside guy. He walks off the line of scrimmage. He lets Gallup clear on the out route, and then he breaks underneath him on the slant route. The Cowboys with Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore now realize that you can, in the NFL, you can try to trick people. You can run people into people. You can run rub routes. You can run pick plays. You can use misdirection. And so those are the things that I think offensively on tape were the most encouraging to me, because that's what leads to the ability to be Team 40 Burger, which is what they needed to be. Now, let's go into, let me grab my notey notes. Let's go into the other things that matter. We did Chido hurt. That's my initial Kellen Moore stuff. Amanda's calling. We'll call her back in a minute. Blake Bell, of all people. Blake Bell, your backup tight end behind Dalton Schultz, actually made himself pretty darn useful in this game. When they came in and when they asked him to block, he was doing a great job. When they asked him to catch the ball, he was doing his job. So when this thing got clicking, suddenly the Belldozer was in there really helping him in the run game. He didn't offer a lot in terms of being like an explosive runner or route runner, but catch the ball. When we ask you to block, don't lose your one-on-one matchups. Be useful. Blake Bell, I thought, did a nice job. Other thing, let's talk about this offensive line. There should be no doubt, if Tyron Smith can play this week, it should be Tyron Smith playing left tackle. It should be Brandon Knight playing the right tackle. When you watched Brandon Knight snap in and snap out, and you watched Terrence Steele, who was playing the right tackle, snap in and snap out, it's clear which one of them is more equipped to help you survive for an NFL game, and it's Brandon Knight. His ability, Terrence Steele ends up losing his technique because when you watch them both just try to get away from the line of scrimmage, defensive end is threatening the edge. What are you going to do? Brandon Knight is able to stay in his slide. He's able to stay in his shuffle and stay square, keep his back to the quarterback. He's able to do that. And Terrence Steele just doesn't have the foot speed or the quickness to be able to do that. Too many times he ends up having to start crossing his feet over and turn and hope he can push the guy around the pocket. I do think both of them worry me a little bit in terms of anchor when somebody runs right down their chest. But with Brandon Knight, he was surviving it. You know, he's getting walked back into Dak's lap, but he was surviving it. With Steele, I watched Tack McKinley go right through the outside of his chest or right down the middle. Brandon Knight is the guy that you're going to want to have play as your swing tackle if Tyron Smith plays. Now, there's a chance that both of these guys are going to have to play again because Tyron Smith is not practicing today. I hope I'm wording that right. I'm not going to do much, not going to do the team portion, but still dealing with stingers, and we'll have to see how he ends up. But that is where you are. But this is good. This is good. You now have an offense where the coaching staff, they're on it. They're not dummies. They understand. You know, they're running triple bunches with nice route combinations out of it. They're starting to use CeeDee as a gadget and on top of being a really good receiver. So everything's good. Everything offensively is good. The only thing that is really tough right now is that everyone is hurt. So against Seattle, you're still going to have a lot to overcome because you are still going to be without Chido. You're going to be without, obviously, Van Der Esch and Sean Lee and maybe Tyron Smith. You'll be without Lyle Collins. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. But Team 40 Burger lives. All right, hold on. Let me move my mouse real quick so that I can get to the mailbag portion of the broadcast. Remember, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. If you want to make fun of my hat, I couldn't find any of my baseball hats or my bucket hats. So this is the hat that I have on today because it just sits on top of my dresser because no one would ever really wear this hat. Well, I wish I had cooler hats. If I had cooler hats, I'd be a hat guy. All right, let's get to the mailbag. First, let's see what Amanda wants. Hey, we're doing a video right now, and you're going to be on it. So should I stop the video? Well, I'm talking about the Cowboys offense and the offensive line and the Belldozer and all sorts of stuff.
Woo! Let's go, Blake Bell.
Yeah.
It's okay. I guess nobody wants to hear about you going to REI for me.
I already went to REI for you. They said they didn't have it.
Yeah, but it turns out I didn't actually order the hat, but it is there, so you should just go and we can FaceTime and I'll tell you which one. Okay, bye.
So that is that. Where was I? Oh, mailbag. Dun, 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 dun. I do have a bunch of notes from the tape on Brandon Knight and Terrence Steele, but I don't want to beat you down with that. Just know that Brandon Knight had a better day than Terrence Steele did. Okay? Pete said, how about Tyrone Crawford? His snap count 79 to Griffin's 98, and he's got 3 tackles this year. I said all offseason he's not worth $9 million, and we should have cut him or made him take a pay reduction. Yeah, that was the thing with my Everson Griffin tweet yesterday. It was really just kind of a throwaway tweet. It was just kind of a note as I was going through watching their defense. I could make the same tweet about Tyrone Crawford. He hasn't been good this year. Tyrone Crawford hasn't been good. Everson Griffin hasn't been good. Alden Smith has been pretty good, and Tank Lawrence has been okay. But that's your defensive front, and that's the guys that got to get something going. Or Tristan Hill could keep coming along and just take snaps from Tyrone Crawford because Tristan Hill's coming along. He flashes. He makes some plays. He ends up in the backfield a little bit. Here we go. Instead of calling out Griffin, call out Tank. Ever since he got that money, he's been basically useless, a complete waste of money. That's a lie. That's not true. Tank is still a good player, and right now he's banged up with a knee. But, yeah, I'll come around a little bit with the rest of the world where, look, $20 million is not the going rate for a great run defender. It's the going rate for a great edge rusher. So he needs to be pressuring the quarterback, and he needs to convert those pressures into sacks more often. That needs to happen for Tank Lawrence. But he's still been your second-best defensive lineman this year, which isn't impressive. You should probably be better than the guy who's been out of the league for 5 years. So get that together. That's what the Cowboys really need. They need this defensive line to get it together. They need to be a team that scores early, that plays aggressively, and then Tank, Griffin, Crawford, Alden Smith, Tristan, and Randy Gregory, when you get him back, you got to be able to unleash those guys, and they got to be able to be just freaking terrors to the other team's quarterbacks, because right now that's not what you're getting from your defensive line. You are getting blah play from your defensive line, and they need better than that, especially when it comes to pass rushing. David, would you consider Jordan Lewis as a safety? He's got some honey badger traits where he's fearless and he plays the ball well, but isn't a particularly good man coverage guy. He blitzes and plays the run well, and if we keep the ball in front of him, he will go get. That's a good point. Jordan Lewis kind of got torched last week. You can't move him right now because you don't have the bodies to cover for him. But actually, that is an interesting thought. I think most people would look at him and be like, well, he's so small. He's got to be a slot corner. But the best thing about his game right now is his willingness to be physical in the run game, his ability to blitz. The man coverage has been getting the Cowboys hurt when he's had to play. He'll get you some picks, but he'll get you hurt too. Let's see. Whip Tech. Coming from a defense that he played in for several years to a new team, give Griffin the benefit of the doubt. We're just trying to establish a baseline. If he sucks in November, then voice your opinion. Now's not the time. Sorry, but you're being unfair. He's still going to help big time. Give it a minute. He could. That's why when I tweeted about him, I used the word yet. He hasn't been good for this team yet. And I did see that he leads the team in sacks with 1 and pressures with 5. He was playing against a dude you've never heard of in week 2. Pro Football Focus has him as the 93rd graded edge out of 103 in the league. I'm fine with that. I'm totally cool even with Everson Griffin's responses when he's talking about it's about how you're trending and where you end up and all that. But in reality, it's a 1-year contract. You play 16 games. We've played 2 so far. I work on the radio talking about the Cowboys, and we're going to talk about the way that the players have played. We can't go to November without commenting on the games and then be like, all right, now let's do a reasonable look at how everyone has played so far. We're going to talk about how people play every week. Tyrone Crawford hadn't played good enough. Everson Griffin hadn't played good enough. Tank Lawrence hadn't played good enough. Jalen Smith hadn't played good enough. There's a lot of guys, play better. Everybody. For Griffin, yeah, new team, late signing. He's got a lot of stuff that he's got to overcome, and he's got to end up being an impact player. That was their goal when they signed him. So get there. When he gets there, he gets there. The only reason that I even said anything about Griffin is because I was so high on the signing. I watched the tape of him last year. He was a monster. So I'm out here predicting double-digit sack seasons and a great run defender, and then what I see on tape is a guy that's getting pushed around and is not an explosive pass rusher. So, hopefully he can ramp that up as quickly as possible and become that player. But through 2 games, he's not that player. All right. Leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. And make sure that you're subscribed to get the notifications turned on. I got to go. People are calling me. I love you. Bye.